there, it's Kevin from RogueDeckBuilder.com, here with December's episode of the Rogue Market. Before I get started in this episode, I'd just like to recap our November episode for the standard Rogue Market to see how we did. Last month I gave a few predictions for which cards to pick up. The first one that I suggested was Thundermaw Hellkite, and I said that Thundermaw Hellkite was going to explode due to its popularity in UWR Flash, Jund, and Red Deck wins. When I made that prediction, it was sitting around $18 on Star City Games, and now on Star City Games it's at $30. So that was pretty much a hit. I did pick up a few Thundermaw Hellkite in that time period. I'm glad I did. Its popularity is still on the rise, I would say. UWR Flash is becoming quite oppressive, actually. I think it was a Star City Open or TCG, either TCG or Star City, where all top four of the decks were UWR Flash with Thundermaws in the deck. So I don't see Thundermaw going much higher than 30 because in a lot of decks it is just a 2 of. Sometimes these core sets, mythics, can be more pricey, especially this one. I think the M13 was one of their worst selling core sets in a while because it didn't have the chase mythics like the Titans in M11 and M12, and so and also Avacyn was incredibly popular and still new and fresh while M13 was released. So a lot of people, I know my local store especially, didn't even really draft M13. Everyone stuck to Avacyn, chasing the bonfires. So Thundermaw Hellkite probably has a higher price just because of that fact that a lot less M13 was opened than usual core sets. So I still don't think it will go up past $30 because, like I said, a lot of decks that Thundermaw is in, such as Red Deck Wins or some of the UWR Flash variants, it's only a 2 of. And so a mythic that is only a 2 of will have a hard time going above $30 no matter how popular it is. However, with that said, I do think that either Boros or Gruul is going to use Thundermaw Hellkite as well. I don't know if you've seen the spoiled cards. I don't want to do a spoiled episode just in case it might offend some people that don't like spoiled cards. But Boros seems more of a mid-rangey feel with the one mythic with spoiled, and Gruul, we have no clue. It does seem a little bit aggressive, but probably not as aggressive as Rakdos or Red Deck Wins. So Thundermaw hits perfectly with that curve, I'm thinking. So it is a card I would definitely get my playset now if you're planning on it, because it could go up to 35, 40, and I don't see it going down below 30 just because, like I said, the supply is pretty low compared to how many M13 packs were opened, and of course everyone is still probably opening Return to Ravnica and kind of ignoring M13 unless they're Thragtusk chasing. Anyway, so we'll go on to number 2, which was Garruk Primal Hunter. It didn't quite take off like I thought it was. It did take off online, Magic the Gathering Online, because of the popularity of Bant control, and Garruk Primal Hunter was seeing as much as a 4 of in some Bant lists. So Garruk, he was $8 when I said pick him up. He has increased to $10 on Star City, so it was a pretty good investment. But he didn't take. I thought he was going to be easily up to 15. So we'll consider that kind of hit and a miss with Garruk Primal Hunter. On to Hellrider, number 3. That was the third pick that I suggested picking up, and he did take off. He was $3 when I suggested to pick up Hellrider. He is now $8, and I can only see him going up again because of the popularity of Red Deck Wins. Red Deck Wins is one of the cheaper decks you can buy right now to be competitive, and it's a very, very good deck. You can actually just ignore Thragtusk by taking him with either Trader's Instinct or Zealous Conscripts, and it kind of negates the 5 life that Thragtusk would have given them, and you can swing for that kill that 5th turn, or just go over top of Thragtusk with the Thundermaw Hellkite. But Hellrider curves out perfectly with all the 1 and 2 drops and gets in there for that last bit of damage. Hellrider is also seeing play in even some variants of zombies. Black-red zombies will play him. I can only see him as a big card in either green-red aggro or Boros aggro. So I don't see Hellrider going down anytime soon. In fact, when I was picking him up at the start of Return to Ravnica, it wasn't for Return to Ravnica, it was for Gatecrash, because I did see that he would be more useful in Gruul or Boros. But Red Deck Wins did take off, and so did Rakdos aggro, and he has seen a home there, and that was the spike increase in Hellrider. So $8 is quite high for a rare, though. I mean, that's what you see like Messenger or Gravecrawler, and those have been incredibly popular for a long time now, and they've had a hard time getting above $10. I mean, of course, you do see Snapcaster Mage and Caverns of Souls and Thragtusk over $20, but a lot of the time, Thragtusk is kind of the exception, being that it's really defined this format. This is the era of Thragtusk. So that is the reason why it has its $25 price tag. Plus, like I said, the M13 is not as open nearly as much as the other sets, so the supply is quite limited compared to the demand. But as far as Snapcaster and Caverns of Souls are concerned, I think that their prices are higher than they normally would be because of the implications of being played in both Modern and Legacy. The risk is a lot lower for picking up Caverns of Souls and Snapcaster Mage, because since they are both used in the Eternal format, they won't dump in price as soon as the sets rotate. So a lot of collectors like to pick up cards that they know will stay consistent or go up in value in the long term, and I think that is why Snapcaster and Caverns have consistently stayed high throughout the two standard formats they've been in now. So anywho, Hellrider, I could see Hellrider going up to 10 or 12, but eight's a pretty good price for it. So if you picked him up at 3, you can sell him right now for a good profit and sleep at night just fine. The fourth card's very interesting that I picked, which was Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, and I say sell. Right now he is at 25. When I said pick him up, he was at 18. That's a $7 profit. Sell him because he will be a foil in the upcoming Sorin versus Tibalt deck. Actually, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, if it's Sorin, Lord of Innistrad or Sorin Markov. So maybe I should check into that before I spout my mouth off here and tell you to sell Sorin, because I mean he is in a very popular Orzhov colors next set, and I think that they are going to promote the tokens. I don't see why not. So I'll have to check on that. I'm pretty sure it will be Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, and if that's the case, the deck is selling for $20. And Sorin is $25, and the deck has a foil alternate art version. Yeah, we saw what it did to Koth and Venser. It has to take Sorin's price down, and I think that those decks, correct me if I'm wrong, I think those are sold in higher quantities. I mean, they're not like from the vaults or even like the event decks. I think that the dual decks are sold at even like Walmart and places like that, so the quantities are a lot higher, and so it's easy to a lot of times that they don't go up past their price. Like we saw the Thragtusk event deck explode to $40 because it had a $25 Thragtusk in it, and usually those things sell for $20, so all the retailers jacked up the prices because they knew that people would pay it for that Woodland Cemetery and the Thragtusk that was included in the event deck. So I don't see this happening to Sorin though, because I think that, like I said, I think they do a higher amount of printing for these Planeswalker dual decks. Sorin at 25, that's probably as high as he's going to go, and if you want to make a profit, you want to guarantee your profit run out, you should probably try to trade away the Sorins before that dual deck comes out. So we'll go on to number 5, that's Sphinx's Revelation. It was $6 when I said to pick it up. I gave it as my only prediction to pick up in the Return to Ravnica set, because I said that all Return to Ravnica prices would be falling due to Magic Online and redeeming and just people getting over their initial rush. This happens every time in Standard. There's this huge rush to get the cards you need for the new Standard, and then all the drafters start flooding the market with all the, because it's 3 packs every person per week that are opening the draft, and it just really floods the market with the supply of Return to Ravnica cards, and you see this huge spike drop. And you'll see Ravnica cards go back up in value either in Gatecrash or the following set, or Dragon's Maze, I guess is what it's called, or the following block is when those cards usually go nuts. We saw it with all the or Innistrad cards like Olivia going crazy when this new format came out and it found a home. So I would continue right now. I think that we've seen a huge spice decrease in Return to Ravnica. It might have a little bit more to go, but I mean, I think a lot of the trolls at $4 and like Cyclonic Rifts and Sphere and all these rares that are now under $4 is a pretty good sign that it has stabilized. In fact, I think that almost all standard cards are pretty much stabilized now in price. We haven't seen any huge breakout decks in the last couple weeks, like we saw, a month prior with the Creator of Behemoth deck, with even Red Deck Wins going crazy and really dominating the format, and some of these other decks beginning to become staple standard decks, and that is why you saw some crazy price increases with, like I said, like Thundermaw Hellkite and Creator of Behemoth and other cards that were staples in these decks. I think standard is pretty much... we could be surprised with the new deck, but I think the tier decks, the tier 1 and tier 2 decks, have pretty much been figured out. Like I said, we're starting to see more consistent winners at the tournaments. There still is, standard's very healthy. There still is like a good 10 decks that I'd consider tier 1 decks, but I don't see in the horizon any new crazy decks like the Creator of Behemoth that are just gonna come out of nowhere and make a card go crazy. But if there are, I will keep you posted on that. Anyway, back to Sphinx's Revelation. It is now sitting at about $20, so it would have been the best pickup at $6 to be able to sell for 2.5 times its price. It is still a hugely popular card, being in as much as a 4 of in UW Flash or a 4 of in Band Control. Patrick Chapin actually had an article about basically this format is defined by 3 cards: Falconwrath Aristocrat, Thragtusk, and Sphinx's Revelation. Basically every deck uses one of those. Like very hyper aggressive, tempo, or a little bit of control card build to send your deck around. So Sphinx's Revelation, like I said, has taken off. In fact, I hear a lot of people saying that it is basically the deciding factor in the mirror is who draws the most Sphinx's Revelations. So $20, I could see it going up to $30. So you haven't quite missed the boat, but who knows with the gate crash coming up how popular these tempo decks will be. If we get some more hyper aggressive decks that can basically burn them out, then you'll see that Sphinx's Revelations popularity might dwindle a bit. But anyway, that's just my recap of episode 1, the standard episode 1. You can check out the link here for my overview of episode 1. And anyway, this is Kevin from RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.